Welcome back to The Talk Tonight. This Sunday, you have the opportunity to relive a favorite show from the yesteryear of NBC3, Monster Movie Matinee. That's right, Monster Mansion Memories will air at 7 o'clock this Sunday on our sister station, CW6. Show's producer, photographer, director, and just about everything else on there, along with some help from some great people too. But Andy Wolf works right here at our station, and Andy, it's great to have you out on this side of the camera. I know you're used to being on that side of the camera, but this show is incredible. I remember as a kid, me and my two brothers on a Saturday afternoon when the show would come on, we'd like hide behind the couch, you know, afraid of the characters, but also the monsters that were going to come out during the movies.
Right, and you hear a lot of that. We got a Facebook page, Monster Mansion Memories, and you hear a lot of people on there. They say that they would hide behind the couch or under their pillows whenever E. Paul and Dr. Woody came on. Yeah, and it had a great atmosphere, and you know, it just felt like a horror movie.
I want to show people a little bit of a clip, and then I want to ask you about why you even came about to creating this documentary. But let's listen to a little bit of the old show.
I see that our guest has arrived. Please, won't you join us?
Oh, dear guest.
Oh,
I see that you have preceded.
Now, who is that, Andy? Explain this to me. That's Alan Malaire.
That's Alan Malaire playing.
Or the voice of, yes.
Voice of, playing Dr. E. Nicholas Whitty. Nick Whitty. Never saw him on camera because he was too horrible for the human mind to bear.
We couldn't even imagine. Couldn't imagine
if you saw
he had.
Right, and E. Paul there was played by Bill Lape, a great actor, great theater actor,
who was also known here as Salty Sam.
Salty Sam
for many years.
And on Bowling for Dollars. I mean, he did all kinds of shows here, and on radio too.
When you started working here at Channel 3. What struck you that led all these years later now to do this documentary?
I started here, I came from my interview in 1999, and my boss, who was going to be my boss, Dean Walters, walked me through the studio right here, and he stopped and said, "This is where Monster Movie Matinee was shot." And I just was floored by that, because I was like, as a kid, I thought this was a national show.
Sure.
Never knowing it was a local, I mean, I grew up south of Utica, but it was like surprising to me that it was a local program.
Well, and it was so well done, and especially so innovative for its time in terms of special effects too. They spent a lot of time doing effects.
Spent a lot of time on creating a mood, lighting, set design, the scripts, all that stuff. A lot of other horror host shows throughout the country weren't as well put together as this one was.
Yeah, but it was a common genre at that time, wasn't it? That there were other horror hosted shows.
Yes, they started about that time, early '60s. And I don't know how long it took to get here, but it took a while for them to get it on air here. It took them 3 years.
Just to convince the station to do it?
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. It takes a while. I mean, it takes a while to get
things going, yes. Yeah.
You did an interview with Alan Malaire, who was Dr. E. Nick Whitty. Let's listen to a little bit, and then I want to talk to you about how you got this put together and how that went.
Because it was a big part of their lives. Once a week. 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Oh, well, I mean, that's just incredible. That's Sean Malaire, Alan's daughter, who worked here for many years, too.
And this is from the Syracuse back in 2011. His last public appearance. We had a panel discussion about the documentary coming up and about the show.
Before he passed away, obviously. Yeah. And then Bill Lape also, you did an interview with him that's in the show.
Right.
And the two of them, in fact, I just was talking to his daughter about that last night, Sean, that they both kind of told the same story by being interviewed in separate places. Is that right?
Yeah, the Bill Lape interview was done years ago. And I talked to Alan in 2010 or 11. And when I got the Bill Lape stuff, it fit together perfectly and fed off each other. It was amazing how seamless it is.
Clearly, part of the reason the show works so well. We have a lot of comments online. I want to get to those quickly before maybe seeing just another clip here from the documentary itself. People remembering, you know, Evom, the scary hand. Yes, my cousins used to torture me because I was scared of the Mummy movie they always played. You know, loved it, especially when home sick on the couch with my mom. Monster Movie Matinee was a classic, scary movies. And I also, it's important I show you this too. If you search Monster Mansion Memories on Facebook, you can get to this page. That's where you can order your DVD. This documentary is available for sale.
Yep.
Right? And the best way to get it is to go on Facebook?
You can go to Facebook, or it's in Soundgarden, also in Armory Square.
That's pretty cool, too. And finally, I want to get one last thing. We've been talking a lot about Joe Teresi this week. Of course, he passed away a few days ago. His funeral was today. And here's Joe in your documentary giving a little tour of the station many years later.
It lasted a long time, and people grew up with it. many of the people grew up with that show, and it was wonderful.
That's Joe talking about how people grew up with the show, and why was it so important to add Joe? I mean, we never saw Joe in the show.
Yeah, but everybody you talked to said Joe Tracy was an integral part of the look of the show, the feel of the show.
All the way over.
He built the sets, he did the lighting, he created all these effects.
This set,
as he did with many other shows here on Channel 3.
Yeah, he
stuff
really was
was
an
shot right
innovator. We're
here.
certainly going to miss him, and one by one, the central figures of Monster Movie Matinee are gone, but your documentary helps them live on.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And there's the special feature of all the existing footage now that hasn't been seen in decades. This is the first time this stuff's been seen on air since it aired. And that's also a special feature on a disc, so you can play it and watch it the whole way through.
It's really something. I've gone through about half of it on my DVD copy at home, and I look for it maybe over the weekend, or to watch when it actually airs. But I think I'm going to get to the DVD before it airs on Sunday night. Andy Wolf, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for doing this, for capturing this piece of Central New York television history. Our conversation continues in a moment. We were thinking of keeping Andy on for that too, but I think we're going to let him off the hook. We're going to bring in Michael Benny.